Hello, everybody. This is Legroom 2368 playing Dwarf Fortress. I know it's been a little while since I last streamed. We should be. Do I need to? There we go. Get some little background audio going. Um, yeah, it's been a little minute since I've done a bit of streaming. I think it was did a little brief Hades stream at the end of last year. Before that, I think it was 2021. But I really wanted to get back into it, get enjoying it. If there's anybody in the chat, could you let me know how the audio balance is? I really don't want to be messing this up again. I've start flashbacks to the third, or was it fourth episode of my Dishonored 2 Let's Play, where I completely missed that OBS had dropped my microphone settings. So I did I think it was like 6 hours of game streaming with no microphone audio, and I didn't notice that at all. It's looking like... Come on. Then... So how are we all today? It's been a good time. Weather's been alright down here in South England. So plan up the stream. I love the streams. I've been finding this is my I really enjoy doing the stream. I know when I was doing my G4 series, my plan is to work with this one fortress, and this is going to be my first attempt to reclaim a ruin that's been generation and world generation. If you guys haven't played Dwarf Fortress before or haven't played it recently, Dwarf Fortress is arguably the original colony sim game. So if you've played something like RimWorld, if you've played something like Banished, if you've played something like Settlers back in the day, these are games where you go into an area in a world with a small population and you attempt to build up a community. You're extracting resources, you're processing those resources into things you need, you're growing your population through migration and children, and you're dealing with the challenges the world sets against you. Now, Dwarf Fortress is arguably the progenitor of that whole genre, but it's also one of the... It's not simple. So it was first released in 2006, I want to say. But it has been under continuous development by some of the most passionate and committed people I've ever come across for that entire time. The entire time till now, and in 2000, I want to say 2003, they had maybe 2002, yeah, 2002, they had a Steam release following one of the developers' family members having a health scare and therefore needing financial backing, because until that point it was completely free to download. It still is completely free to download if you're willing to use the old ASCII graphics. It had used ASCII icons to represent everything in the world. The Steam version, which is the version I've been playing, has a much easier to parse user interface, and it uses beautiful sprite graphics. So that's what we'll be playing. The other thing about this, because it's been developed for so long and goes into so much detail, it is a world generator. So it generates an underlying geology, it generates societies and cultures that your culture will be interacting with and a part of, and it generates a history of the world, and that's something that we'll be delving into a little bit particularly in this first stream, where we are choosing our where we're going to go and who we're going to bring with us on that. Right, so if I swap over to gameplay and finish setting that audio up, because I don't have good hotkeys for messing about with audio. I'm going to be starting a new game in an existing world. I've already generated this world and had a little bit of a look around in Legends mode. I might move my camera around if it ends up being in an awkward place. So going to be the world that we'll be doing these streams in will be Madungamul, or the Portentous Plain, and we'll be starting in the year 250. So 250 years of history has happened in this world. So this is not vanilla Dwarf Fortress. People who've played Dwarf Fortress will recognise that I have the utility DF pack installed. I've got a few other mods also going on. They are largely what I would consider quality of life improvements. So there's a mod to fix a couple of missing sprites for filled jugs and minecarts that are full of fluids, because I had a previous fortress where I was trying to bring magma up to a surface layer to do some mining with, do some smelting with, and then the minecarts were invisible when they had stuff in them, which made it much more awkward to do. There's also a couple of mods to make equipment on military dwarves more stable, so it's changing the gloves and boots, particularly gauntlets and boots, and a mod to make some of the UI elements a little bit more visible, particularly engraving and the pause menu, and a mod for making the cave spider venom, normal cave spiders, not giant cave spiders, the syndrome from that wears off over time. Because in the base game, if one of your dwarves gets bitten by a normal cave spider, they have a permanent disability. And that was getting very frustrating to me when I started to work in the cabin layer. I think I've got a fix for pond spawns. And I think that's it. I can double check my mod list. I might post it in the description when I upload this to YouTube, which I'll be doing either tonight or tomorrow, depending on. I'm planning for this stream to be going on until around about 9 PM. So the plan is to be streaming Dwarf Fortress every Monday from 7 o'clock my time till 9 PM my time. Just have a nice solid block. I get to make enough progress in the game, but I also get to do other things with my evening as well, which was the problem I was having with the GeForce stream, was it was happening late enough that I was feeling very rushed finishing up the stream and then going to work, working nights still, things like that. So, we have, I'll show you the fortress screen, setting up a fortress mode, right, so that you can see the list of options we have for reclaiming fortress. I have also a couple of notes I've written up, so that we can pick where we are, where we're going. I'm going to skip the tutorial. We're going to be reclaiming or retiring. So, reclaiming a fortress. So, Dwarf Fortress, typically, in a normal embark, you will be picking a location anywhere on the map, and this is our world that has been generated. It's a large landmass. One other difference for something I set up during World Gen that will make a difference to people who are experienced Dwarf Fortress. I removed werebeasts. So no werewolves or weremoose or were-capybaras or anything like that's going to show up. I had a large long-term fortress that I was really enjoying, and then I set up a tavern, and I was getting 5 or 6 werebeast transformations every month in this tavern that I could not stop without completely closing my fortress off to the outside world entirely, which didn't feel like there's a lot of fun interactions that you can have with meeting other people, finding out rumors, finding out about artifacts, going and taking those artifacts through, or reclaiming stuff that's been lost by other dwarven civilizations, so on and so on. But if you interact with those systems, you're also having some other civilization show up at your fortress, turning into a weremongoose, killing 4 or 5 things, infecting 3 or 4 other people, and then it just ends up with this downward spiral that was really awkward to play around and play in. So yeah, this is the world that we're in. You can see various coniferous and deciduous forests, mountains and deserts, some dwarven settlements, goblin dark pits, and see if I can't find there's a little elven forest retreat. So so we'll be swamps and grasslands and all of that kind of fun stuff. But we aren't going to be choosing a place at random, and we aren't going to be choosing a place based on the resources that are there. We are going to be reclaiming a previously built fortress. Now I've got a list here of about 10. There are 10 ruined dwarven fortresses that were generated in the game world. Sorry, let's back out that. That were generated in the creation of the world and then running 250 years of history. We have a list here of them, and there are a couple that stood out to me as potentially interesting. And if anybody in the chat wants to suggest one, we'll do that one. Otherwise, I think we'll do bolt tongues, which is the one at the bottom of this list. So we have Vabagros, or the other thing I'll say, this game does feature languages for the playable, for the civilized, I should say, factions, words of connotations. So there is a dwarven language, a human language, a goblin language, and an elven language. The dwarven language is what most stuff will come across on the in, and by and large you will see the dwarven form of the word and the English translation of it, playing in English, put next to each other. Some menus will use like the dwarven form of character surnames, other places will use the English form, and generally speaking names of places are like a cognate of 2 English words. So Orbleaf is the name of Vagros. So in year 1, so the first year of history progressing, the Rhythmic Daggers, a group of dwarves known as the Rhythmic Daggers of the Adventurous Armory, one of the dwarven civilizations, founded Orbleaf. And then in the early spring of year 2, so less than a year or so after this place was founded, the Forgotten Beast Asa Ugliumbra, the Mangy Oozes, routed the Rhythmic Daggers of the Adventurous Army and destroyed Orbleaf. So this was one of the first dwarven holds, first dwarven cities, and it was destroyed in its infancy by a horrifying beast. Forgotten beasts are a very interesting part of this game. They're procedurally generated, usually very dangerous bad guys. They operate somewhat in like a normal gameplay, like the Balrog being the Doom of Moria. So it's something that will attack your hold as you grow more wealthy, and will, generally speaking, come up from below if you've interacted with the cavern system. We have Brass Pelt, which is and Orbleaf is here. So it's on this stream, just here. Brass Pelt, which is over here, was also found in 1 found by the artifact of Trails. And in the early spring of 134, so it lasted for 130 years, a different forgotten beast routed the wicked lessons of the trampled sin and destroyed Brasspelt. So Brasspelt had been taken over by another faction before it was wiped out. Now, the wicked lessons of the trampled sin, that sounds to me like a goblin civilization. Like the words that they tend to use in their civilization names. So that's got some really interesting history, and we can go back into Legends mode and look at some of those histories in a moment. Got Paint Faith here, founded in the year 7, and in the mid-spring of 8, a Mountain Titan, which is again a procedurally generated enemy that will attack from the surface. So kind of think of it as like something that I conceptualize it as is like almost the leftover energies of creation, creating something that with a form that is almost impossible and of an almost elemental nature. They are very dangerous, or can be very dangerous. So that was destroyed in the year 7 by this. There's a Mountain Titan. We have Thinned Mirror, which is much further across. Founded in 15, was destroyed in 19 by a Bronze Colossus. So if you're familiar with the Talos from Greek myth, this is a homage to that. So that probably a little bit. Something I should say. Generally speaking, when we're reclaiming a ruin, the thing that destroyed that place tends to settle in that location. So sooner or later, I will have to deal with whatever destroyed this location. I'll get into that bit more detail when we're preparing for the embark, and we're choosing the skills and equipment that's coming with us with our first 7 dwarves on our journey. We have Archrims, which founded in 17 by the Setter Post, and in 50 it was destroyed by a Hydra. That is an interesting physical location to be in. You've got this kind of forest and a lot of roads, and then what looks to be some dwarven mountain homes. I recognise the sprites they're using, and then some goblin pits, some monasteries of various types as well. So there's going to be a lot going on around here, which could be quite interesting to play with. We have Ochre Shower, which is a little bit to the northwest, founded in 37, and in 55, so the Spires of Bronze defeated the Dwarves, so another civilization, Spires of Bronze, defeated the Arrow Castles and took it over, and the new government was called Mechanical Bristles. Now, I know that there is, according to the Dwarf Fortress Wiki, because I did a little bit of research in the run to the stream, there are situations where another civilization can take over a ruin, but it still marks the ruin on our UI, and it causes problems with you embark. So I'm probably not going to do this. So we have iron handles. In 45, it was founded by Golden Trades. In the late spring of 55, it was destroyed by Umshit Cavern Languish, the Boring Depth. It gets a kind of a bit of a different environment here in these foothills on next to this kind of rolling plain. There is what appears to be a necromancer's tower up here, which could lead to some fun times. That is a few days away. You have Labour Machine, which is again in this kind of heavily again a couple of necromancer towers there. This heavily populated region. In 53, it was founded by the Artifact of Trails. In 57, it was again destroyed by the Spires of Bronze. So if I'm going to be working in this area, I'm likely to be interacting with the Spires of Bronze. And then finally with Bolt Tongs, which was one of story that I looked into because the set of descriptions here really caught my attention. So in 141, the Golden Trades founded Bolt Tongs, so this little hillock here. And then in 227, so much later on, the Golden Trades defeated the Curious Pools and pillaged Bolt Tongs. So something that's happened here is somebody else, in this case the Curious Pools, took over Bolt Tongs, and then the originating culture attacked the people who took it over and sacked the site. So I did look a little bit into Bolt Tongs because that was looked interesting to me. But also interesting to me is Brass Pelt, because it's got that long lifetime. And I'd be interested, if we're going to Brass Pelt, to look up Kakast Hollow Caves, the Murky Hole, so that we could know a little bit about them and prepare accordingly. Sorry, did I just click my microphone there? Oh, we're good? We're good. Trying to keep an eye on the audio levels. And then we also... All Belief is interesting again because it's one of those very first civilizational elements, right from the dawn of history. So yeah, if anybody's in chat, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, what I think I might do, for all that I said we'd do Bolt Tongs, I might go into Legends mode and show you guys Legends mode, which is another thing that this game does, which I haven't seen in any other colonies in, or even procedural world game, and show you some of the history of this place. Yeah, let's have a look at Brass Pelt. Brass Pelt, Artifact of Trails. Just for my own notes so that I can do some stuff with this. Right, so going to return to title menu briefly, because I'm going to load up the game again and go to Legends mode, and we can look at Brass Pelt. So, what Legends is a searchable list of everything in this world. So, every notable item that has been created by somebody, every notable individual, every civilizational leader or person who's had a significant impact on the world, every piece of writing that's been created, every religious group that's been created, every site that has been founded, and it's all interlinked, so I can just look up anything I'm after. So we are looking for, in our sites list, Brass Pelt. So Brass Pelt was a fortress, past tense. So in the year 1, it was founded, there were some ceremonies, generating poetic and musical forms, celebrating the coronation of their first king. So it's the early spring of the year 4, it was attacked by a Minotaur. Kills some dwarves. Dwarven rum was stolen by an Ettin. So this looks like, with all of the ceremonial things, that this was one of the originating points of the artifact trails. So there's a lot of interesting historical things. There's a set of roads being made to connect this to other places, which will affect our gameplay potentially, because it does affect how trade caravans arrive. Wrestling competitions. Forgotten beasts that aren't the forgotten beasts we're thinking about. A lot of internal competitions, people becoming notable people. There's a lot. There's going to be a lot of entrants here because somebody winning a competition is treated as a historical event. It becomes part of the legends of these places, and all of these historical events are things that potentially our dwarves in game will know about. When they're making carvings or statues, they might make reference to these things, which is again something I really love. It makes the world feel like a real place. Okay, so in 43, the Trampled Sin attacked the reputed Bolt of Braspelt, led by a devil. And there's a lot of what looks like devils and undead attacking. So the Trampled Sin defeated a reputed Bolt, took over Braspelt in 43. So yeah. So it's got took over by what looks to be a goblin civilization. There's just a number of things being done by goblins. So we might see a lot of dwarves and others being becoming members of populations. Goblins. As a culture, steal children and raise them as their own. As one of the things that we might need to contend with during gameplay is goblins coming to steal children to raise them as their own. It's quite a fun little side effect of their. Well, I say a side effect. It's something that's directly coded in as a thing that they do, but it affects their world ethic, their ethos. They are ambitious and cunning and cruel, but very much do not discriminate. If you are as cunning and cruel and part of their culture, they just see you as the same as them. So we've got. Was there more? Grover Creed, Cody City. So Braspelt continued to be a goblin town, goblin pit. Then, yes, the Forgotten Beast, Kekes Holler Caves attacked the wicked letters at Braspelt. And then we see a lot of dwarves and goblins getting killed here. And then some other settlers and what seem to be some other dwarves, dwarf necromancers. I think that what I'll do, I'll have a look at this Forgotten Beast, see if we can find out something about it, and then we'll try and do this embark. And if it bugs out or if there's a problem, we'll instead embark in Bolt Tonks. So, the Forgotten Beast, Kekast Usunthak Shedmakul, or Kakast Hollow Caves, the Murky Hole. Kakast Hollow Caves, the Murky Hole was a forgotten beast. It was the only one of its kind. A great humanoid composed of earthenware. It has a pair of fan-like antennae and has a bloated body. Beware of its webs. Kakast was associated with tortured caverns. So webs is seriously bad news for trying to take it down. Also, it being made out of earthenware is seriously bad news to try to take it down, because it is a hard material that is... so it's going to take a lot of punishment before it is slain. And with webs, what that will do is it will immobilize dwarves that are, or anybody that's attacking it near it. And with them being fully immobilized, it will deliver a coup de grace and pretty much slay whatever it's fighting instantly. There are ways to get around this. I have dealt with web-based forgotten beasts before. It is tricky and it takes time. So we can see here that it's just got an absolute string of murders here, because it's very difficult for something to stand up against it. So 57 notable kills and 22 other kills, although it has done things in other places, so it might not still be in Brasspel. But yeah, I'm going to say that's done. Apparently I've got some echo going on with my microphone. Okay. So what happens if I do that? Are you still? So somebody's just saying in chat that comes some echo. I have just disabled one of the things on the audio mixer. Are you still getting game audio? And are we still getting the echo on my microphone? Okay. So if I do that one, are we still getting game audio? And are we still getting the echo? So this is testing 2, testing 1, 2. No echo, but no game audio. Okay, it is in between tracks. Thank you very much for helping me with this. Whilst this loads up, see if I can get this mix right. The audio stuff is always a challenge for me, because I can't feed it back into my headphones the same way, because it really messes with my head hearing myself speak while I'm speaking. Okay, I'm skipping the tutorial. Reclaiming and unretiring. We were looking at brass pelt. Come on, play a song. Yeah, so there's brass pelt. No echo, but no game audio. Is that still the case? Right, whilst that's doing, we can... Why is it not letting me? Oh yeah, because I've got a slightly larger embark area than the site. Cannot embark on another site. Look, it's not letting me embark, probably because it's still occupied by someone, according to this. Probably that necromancer. Still no game audio at the moment. Okay. Is there a way I could force the game to... so we won't do brass pelt, we will instead do bolt tongs. Okay, so this is going to be a reclaim of bolt tongs. We're preparing for our journey carefully. Enemies are listed as normal. Economy is listed at normal. Pairing carefully. So we've got this little menu here where we can pick. We have points to spend and skills to pick, and we can bring. We have our 7 dwarves that we're going to be bringing. They're currently listed as peasants because they have no skills. They have not assigned any skills. There's another song just come up. If I appreciate the stream delay. So I've just had a question in chat. Question about the game. How do you choose where to embark? What sort of things do you sort of look at when finding a spot? So, for this stream, I have chosen to reclaim a defeated ruin. So I'm not choosing where I'm embarking in the same way as I typically would. However, normally when I'm embarking, I'm looking. There is an overlay in that map screen that we were just looking at, where I can do a set of searches. And I can decide, ask for if there's soil in the area, if there's sand or clay in the area, so I can do farming. If there's what metals and stone are available underground, the overall elevation, whether there are aquifers for underwater water, whether there's rivers, the average temperature, so I could be embarking somewhere that's colder or somewhere that's warmer, the alignment of the region. So there is a good to evil environmental alignment, where in a good biome, you'll get different types of trees. Game audio is a touch loud. If I bring that, how's that? Is that better? It's a difficult one to mix because because the music kind of rises and falls as we do. But I'll have it adjusted in the mixer. If it keeps being a problem, I'll mess about with the sound settings in the game, because I've just turned all audio other than the microphone down there. Where was I? Oh yes, choosing an embark location. So a good aligned area, you might come across unicorns as wild animals. You'll come across featherwood as a tree type, which is extremely light. Makes it useful for a whole bunch of material properties. You come across you have different plants grow, and then you've got a neutral and then an evil biome, which tends to emerge around necromancer towers. You have, again, similarly different types of animals spawning in, and also depending on how evil the location is, there can be horrible weather effects, which can vary from the merely disgusting, as in raining blood, literal blood, or up to the absolutely horrifying, where the dead will rise on their own, which makes butchery and farming really, really difficult to manage and do carefully. So that's your good evil axis. You also have a savagery axis, where in a calm, try and stay in shot. On a calm biome, you will have fewer animals, you will have smaller animals. Animals will be more passive, you will less likely to come across predators. And then on a savage biome, on the other side, you will come across animals will be quicker to agitate, so animals are more likely to go wild and aggressive, but also you're more likely to come across giant animals. Are much more likely to come across giant animals, which can be very useful for either animal husbandry, for farming and similar, but also as beasts of war. Because if you can train up a giant elephant, just that size and that mass, it takes so much punishment to take it down, and it's got so much power in it that adding a couple of war elephants into a squad can really make a difference if you can capture them and tame them and train them. So you'll be looking at all of those things. You'll also be deciding I didn't determine my starting civilization. That is a mistake of mine. I should go on, because I want to. If we just go through this again, I want to make sure that I'm coming from the golden trades. I want to make sure that I'm part of the civilization that founded this site in the first place. That feels right to me to do that, but I didn't check that menu option in the screen. So I can show you how to do a normal embark, but there is also, if you don't want to do the micromanaging that I'm about to do in picking your skills and things, there is a embark now button where it gives you a decent spread of gear and a decent spread of skills and some livestock to start off with, which is going to be in all right for, I'd say, something like 80% of embarks. I'm going to be trying to do some specific things here because we've got some specific challenges. Again, skipping the tutorial. So I could find an embark location and I can ask for it for all of these things. I can say, yes, I want to be in a place where there is gold. Or, no, I don't want gold if I want to be giving myself some specific challenges. I can say, yes, I want a light aquifer because I want to be, dealing with that challenge of having water coming out of the walls in some parts of the underground. But I also want a guaranteed source of clean water. Things of that nature. But yeah. So instead, I'm going to choose my origin, and it's going to be the golden trades. So yeah, there isn't just one set of dwarves in this world. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different dwarven civilizations that will have different histories, different political interactions with other factions, different traditions. There is the potential for some of these factions to know how to make certain items that others don't, which will pass on to me as a site that's a member of the Golden Trade. And then embark, I'm going to Bolt Docks. Boom. So reclaiming. Right, so preparing for the journey carefully. So we've got skills here that I can rank up or down. I get 10 skill picks per dwarf, and I've got 7 dwarves. I then have 544 points. Well, I have a bunch of points to spend on stuff. So this is the stuff that I've got so far. Like, it's just that it's assigning to me, and also animals. I will get, in addition to anything that I put in this thing, I will have 2 draft animals that are at random that will have been pulling the wagon to get there. So that'll be a yak or a llama or a horse or an ox or a cow or something to get there. So let's have a look at Rafard of Vulrigfaith or Rafard of Rift Stacks. He has she is 57 years old. She values eloquence, disdains commerce, good spatial sense, tough, low stamina, high kinesthetic sense. So that's her kind of built-in attributes. This is just the overview panel. If we look at her personality, so again, this is a breakdown of her core attributes. She finds the humour in most situations, lives a fast-paced life, isn't given to flights of fancy, doesn't cling tightly to ideas over to her changing her mind, tends to make a small mess of their own possessions, notable lack of perseverance, she tends not to be swayed by emotional appeals, she's quick to anger, she's a greedy streak and she occasionally overindulges. She rolls her eyes and she's exasperated. She needs alcohol to get through the working day. This is the same for all dwarves. She likes working outdoors and grumbles only mildly at inclement weather. So this is working outdoors and grumbles only mildly at inclement weather. That is, I believe, standard for all of your starting 7. Other dwarves will very much not. Dwarves that come into our fortress later on might very much not want to be outdoors and not hate getting caught in the rain. That is a thing that I will have to deal with later on. The reason I'm looking at this personality is so I can assign appropriate skills to my dwarves based on, like if I've got somebody who loves nature, for example, I don't want to make them a woodcutter because they will get annoyed and stressed at killing plants, things of that sort. So you are disdains friendship, patient, cruel, not creative, overcautious, and ambitious. She's quite ambitious. She's trusting, not particularly interested in what others think of her. She doesn't handle stress well. She's grateful when others help her out. Tries to return favours. She generally finds herself quite hopeful about the future. A little tight with resources when working on projects. She doesn't often feel lustful. She's a calm demeanour. She often feels discouraged. She's generally quite confident in her abilities and undertaking specific ventures. Occasionally overindulges. Right, I'm not seeing anything there that flags up. So the things that I'm really looking for are somebody who is happy working outdoors and is potentially disdainful of nature, so that I can make them a woodcutter. I'd like somebody who's got a broad spectrum of physical attributes, potentially in willpower, to be, or potentially two, given that we're going to be embarking in a potentially dangerous place, to be the start of a militia squad. And I'm going to want somebody who's got quite good mental attribute types and is not after an exciting time to be a starting bookkeeper or manager, because I'll want those skills coming with me. I probably want somebody different from the bookkeeper to be who's a very social individual to be the manager, expedition leader, and to be this person people come to with complaints. So let's have a look at this person. If sense of music, bad intuition, little linguistic ability, really poor focus, but great creativity, sharp intellect, good memory, and some of patience. Enjoys spending time alone, single-minded, quick to anger, tendency to consider ideas and abstractions over practical applications. Doesn't have great aesthetic sensitivity. She's conflicted by this as she values artwork and its creation. Every single entity in the world, by the way, will have a personality this detailed. Every single one. And it informs the way that they react to circumstances. This is one of the things I love about this game, is just the detail that has been procedurally generated across everything. She's curious and easy to learn. Tends not to be swayed by emotional appeals. They reveal personal information. Finds obligations confining. So she's conflicted by this one. I think this might be my bookkeeper. So it's skills. I'm going to go for crucial. Scroll down. Start in labour. Because I'm looking for record keeper. Adequate record keeper to start with. So I'm going to be giving a couple of skill points in the things I want them to start off good at, but I also want other skills kicking about. I'm going to give, for example, everybody a dot in dodge, a point of dodge, because that's going to make it much easier for people to survive if they get attacked by whatever. Let's have a look as you. Personality. Natural ability of music. Very good sense of petitions to embody in the way with words. Questionable spatial sense. This is Dodok Trade Tube. He's very curious, sometimes to his detriment. Finds helping others emotionally rewarding. He has a tendency to consider ideas and abstractions over practical applications. Doesn't tend to hold on to grievances. Moved by art and natural beauty, and is troubled by this as he dislikes the natural world. So again, I don't think this person wants to be a woodcutter, because that conflict is going to cause stress. He is slow to trust others. He is quite comfortable with others that have a different appearance or culture. He can sometimes act without deliberation. He prefers to present himself modestly. He's often cheerful, tends not to reveal personal information, doesn't seek out excitement, rarely feels discouraged. I think this is our leader, our manager and so I'm going to grab dot of persuader, dot of judge of intent, dot of organizer, dot of conversationalist, I think, and then also a dot of dodge. Because I can come back up and other skills I'm really missing I can start to throw in. So let's view Golden Found Glaze. She doesn't stick with things, even if minor difficulties arise. Same. She does not enjoy participating in physical confrontations. Not going to be a militia dwarf. She respects martial prowess, though. Does not find most troops humorous. She often feels envious of others. She's a friendly individual, somewhat fearful in the face of imminent danger. Only tenuous emotional bonds with others. Easily fall in love with positive sentiments. Obligations confining. She enjoys the company of others. She has a greedy streak. She often feels discouraged. Let's look at the next thing. Great ability to focus, poor analytical abilities, meager creativity, shortage of patience, very bad sense of empathy, and an atrocious spatial sense. Ooh, I can see why this person's leaving the mountain home. Made deeply uncomfortable by differences in cultural appearance, he forms strong emotional bonds with others, at times to his detriment, somewhat scatterbrained, confident under pressure, does not cling tightly to ideas, brave in the face of imminent danger, rarely happy or tries to do things correctly each time, rarely happy or enthusiastic, conflicted by this, he values parties and merrymaking in the abstract. Hard same. He is grateful when others help him out and tries to return favours. He finds obligations confining. I think, despite the atrocious spatial sense, I think this might be a candidate for a militia dwarf, because those spatial senses are a thing that can be trained up over time with practice. So let's give you... Now, what's our threat here? We don't have a... Let's grab a point and dodge, point and armor use and shield use, and then a weapon type. Axe, dwarf, mace, hammer, spear. I'm tempted to go for sword, just because it's a bit of an all-rounder. Although axe is useful, and if I'm breeding axes, those can also be used for woodcutting. Different weapons are useful in different scenarios, because if you're trying to kill a very big thing, a spear could go in deeper. If you're facing off against the undead, axes could chop off bits, which makes life easier. Or if you're up against heavily armored targets, hammers and maces, that blunt force trauma gets transmitted through armor better. So I think I'm going to give him a pointed fighter, so that's just a generally useful. It's like it's a lower bonus, but it cries across all weapon types. And then I'm going to go for hammer. I'm going for hammer because in my notes, because I went through bolt tongs is history in the same way as I went through the one I did earlier in the stream, and there's several bronze warhammers that were made as artifacts, as relics of this site. So this strikes me as an interesting figures. Give him 2 dots in hammer dwarf, 2 dots in dodger. Make it a little bit tougher. And let's go with organizer, because that'll help him set up training exercises when we get in there. And pointing tactician, because it's a difficult skill to train up, and then I can come back again. So I need Litast, yeah, personality, great intuition, natural ability with music, good kinesthetic sense, good creativity, good intellect, and a son of patience, an iffy memory, little willpower, and little linguistic ability. He is assertive, he tends to avoid any physical confrontations, he works to square this natural tendency with the respect of martial prowess. He tends to hang on to grievances, little interest in joking around, does not easily fall in love, and rarely develops positive sentiments, does not easily hate or develop negative feelings. He isn't particularly curious about the world, he's not particularly interested in what they think of him. When he's speaking, he usually lowers his eyes. When he's thinking, his body becomes very still. Again, there's nothing really speaking me out here. So I'll have a look at our first 2 again and see if there's again, that avoiding physical confrontations. And I want 2 militia dwarves. mostly because I know that when we're reclaiming an existing fortress, we are likely to be already connected to the underground caverns, and can be quite dangerous. Uh, and the entities that can spawn there and can come up through there can be quite dangerous. So I'd like to start with a baseline amount of dwarves that can handle this stuff. Um, uh, yeah, let's make you also a hammer dwarf. Adequate hammer dwarf. Dot and fighter, dot shield and armor, 2 dots in dodge. And then what I could also then look at is the normal skills I'll need. So my clerk is going to be spending a lot of their time being doing bookkeeping. So I don't want to give them skills I need all the time. So you, like personality, yeah, I feel like this person is a good candidate to be woodcutter. Okay, have a point of dodge as previously mentioned because I don't want anybody to die. But also because woodcutting is a thing that I neither need now or don't need now, might also give them butcher and cook. And then we can grab conversationalist and Tanner. Again, just so I can make use of these things. So I'm going to want somebody who can mine. Personality. Yep, that feels like a good job for you. Tick, 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 tick. So, not going to want you to do much other than mining, but I do think that having some other skills kicking about as well. Good to have someone with mechanics to start with, because that let's get into some of the other things we want to do. Come back to you. I'm sorry that I'm jumping around so much. I don't have a coherent idea in my head about this is all the skills I want to have. So it's kind of a bit of some skill points here, some skill points there type thing. Want some brewing. We want some planting. So I'm going to move you, furnace operator, your combatant, aren't you? Let's give you weaponsmith. Where is weaponsmith? Weaponsmith. And armorsmith. So that goes a clerk. You've got planter and brewer. Let's take that up to skilled. Brewer is really important. Let's give you carpenter. And our manager can grab fishing. So I don't know if there is a river or anything in our space, but having somebody doing fishing very much makes it easy to have food early. And then let's grab stonecutter and stonecraft. Just to speed up those things. Adequate carpenter. And competent record keeper. I don't have anybody who's can do. Right, I think I'm also going to make our clerk our broker, our trader. So for that, I'll want appraiser and judge of intent and negotiator. Probably a second up appraiser. Our administrator. Let's give you. No, let's give our farmer diagnostician for a bit of medical knowledge, just in case. And our fighter can grab a dot in observer to speed up learning things. Our miner, let's grab clothier. Again, it's useful to have that early on. Do I grab clothier? No, I'll go for mason. If I get somebody moving in, they're likely to have craft-based skills. Yeah, that all feels all right. Another point stonecutter there. Another point in. I've got 2 more points on the miner. Now this is a tricky one because mining skill is a thing that levels up very quickly if you're doing a lot of digging. But if you're doing a lot of digging, and I've only got one person here set up for mining, then they're going to be spending a lot of time doing that digging and not doing other jobs. So I don't want to give them anything that I need them to be doing all the time. So let's have a look. What am I missing? Don't want to do blacksmith. I don't think that's hugely necessary right away. Let's just throw bone carver in there. What's useful for making some trade. Right. So animals. This list here, available animals, is all of the animals that I can come along with. They use a lot of points to do so, largely because this is a guaranteed source of resources going on. So what I'm looking at is things that I can get good food from, and things I can get recurring food that I can easily look after, and sources of fibre. So I don't need to start immediately farming for cloth, because that can take a while to get going. So I'm looking at these llamas for that. I'm looking at these sheep for that. I don't think you can use yak hair for clothing. So what do we think? Sheep or llamas? Sheep are cheaper than llamas. Yeah, significantly. So I get a breeding pair of sheep, even a ram, and then if I grab a pair of dogs for gardening, I see sheep being mentioned in chat there. Yep, sheep are on the list. I think as well I might grab. Do I grab cats? They are very useful for managing vermin. Yeah. So ask your chat if animals can be named. Yes, they can be named once we get into the game. So a specific animal can be named. Dwarves will also sometimes when they come across an animal an awful lot, or if they particularly like the animal, take an animal as a pet, and at which point they'll name the animal. It works the other way around for cats. Cats adopt dwarves. We all know who's in charge when it comes to cat relationships. I might leave it at that. If I have some spare points, I might go and grab some birds. because eggs are a really good source of food. That takes relatively little setup. Right, so other things that we need to bring. So first things first. Oh, actually, uh, let's see, because I thought there were things that if you had a high enough combat skill, you've got the weapon for free. So if I drop dodging by a dot and then increase hammer dwarf, do I get a hammer? No, I think I need to be much better than that to... Oh well. So I've got 388 points to spend, and I want to have some equipment for my combat dwarves. I want to have and enough resources to be set up here. So what is already in my basket is some cloth made from pigtail, pigtail being an underground fibre, 5 of each of the dwarven plants. So these are underground growing plants. An iron anvil, which I'll need to make a forge. 2 copper battle axes, so that's wood cutting axe, also a combat axe. 2 copper picks. I'm going to keep 2 of each because if one gets stolen or lost, I don't end up in a situation where I can't come out. 20 units of each of dwarven beer, dwarven rum, and dwarven wine. Some chopped ostrich liver as a meat product. Some cavefish as similarly a meat product. Some plump helmets, which is an underground growing mushroom, which I can use to make things. Some pigtail bags and pigtail threads and pigtail rope. Some ostrich leather quivers. A couple of buckets. Some splints and crutches for medical care. A wheelbarrow and a step ladder made out of tower cap, which is again an underground growing mushroom that can be used as a wood substitute. I'm a dwarven civilization. My originating people have a lot of stuff, underground stuff. So, first thing I'm going to need are some hammers. Now, I don't want to spend the earth on this stuff, so I'm going to go with bronze. Do I want to go with bronze or do I want to go with copper? Copper will do me and it's cheaper. I'm also going to want some armour, so that's going to be a pair of copper shields, a pair of copper helmets. We'll get into equipment quality. Don't worry. I don't get to pick quality levels on. I appreciate what the reference there is, but I don't get to pick quality. Everything that's coming with me here is standard quality. Once my dwarves get skilled at making things, I will be generating things that are better, that are of higher quality, that have little markers next to the either side of the name. So I've got shield hairs, and let's get some copper breastplate. There's mail shirts. They're less effective, but wider coverage. I want to, be able to fit everything else in. So other things I'm going to want. I'm probably going to want. Is there any leather here I've got with me? Some ostrich leather, or is that just the quivers? It was just the quivers. Let's increase the amount of booze I'm coming with, because it might take me a little while to set up on booze. And let's grab some more plump helmet spawn. Yeah, let's go to 26. Don't think I need more thread. Don't think I need more bars. Don't need more wood. Vegetables, cages. Do I need more bags? Bags are useful. Flasks and water skins. Don't think I want to come with any charcoal. More cloth is always useful. grab some yak meat. So that'll do for that. I don't think I need much else, to be honest. Most of the other things I'll need, I'll be able to gather fairly quickly. Although I might grab some more plants, garden vegetables. Yeah. So I can brew some additional alcohol as early as I can. Cages, actually. Cages, let's grab 2 copper cages and a mechanism if I've got one available. Trap components. Instruments. Don't need to bring any stone with me, I don't think. Clay tools. Tools might... Nope. Nope, I can't bring mechanisms with, so I can just have to adapt. So in that case, I've got some spare points. So I think what I'm going to do is bring some more livestock, just to help me get on with things. So I think what that's going to be, the form that's going to take are some geese. So a breeding pair of geese. Let's bring a nest box of, let's say, nickel, so that I've got somewhere for them to lay eggs in. And then 2 sets of copper high boots. Oh no, that's just two copper high boots, isn't it? I need 5 more points of stuff. So if I drop down, nope, that's the wrong button. I don't need all those quivers. There we go. 4 boots. So my militia dwarves have something on their feet, which might matter. And then I've got 1 point left to spend on something, and I don't actually know what I can get for 1 point. Another plump helmet spawn. That'll do it. So yeah, so this is everything my dwarves were bringing with us. So I've got some food to start with. I've got some drink to start with, which is more important. I've got some tools and starting resources, and I've got some equipment for my dwarves. So we have fortress name, which is bolt tongs. The root name, in our case, is the gleeful bell. I can change this if I want to, but that works for me. Group symbol. Symbol of the golden trades. I'm happy with the performance that come with it. So I'm ready to embark and see what our challenges await us. Right. A dwarven outpost, you have arrived. As a journey from the mountain homes into the forbidding wilderness beyond, your harsh trek has finally ended. The party of 7 has made an outpost for the glory of all of Limlush. There are almost no supplies left, but with the stout labour comes sustenance. Whether by bolt, plough or hook, provide for your dwarves. Expect your supply caravan just before winter entombs you, but it is spring now. Enough time to delve secure lodgings ere the Jaguar men get hungry. A new chapter of dwarven history begins here at this place. Alatholin, bolt tongs, strike the earth. So immediately I'm going to pause. So I've got an alert. A section of cavern has collapsed. Let's go down to where that is. Okay, so there's something unsupported was there. And this is the previously existing fortress. This big built square. Garnierite block floors. This kind of channel around the edges of it, which I might widen. And then this this roof with what appears to be some kind of statue garden on it that has collapsed down. Interesting. Some bedrooms. Then in the surrounding areas, I might just zoom out slightly while I do this initial look. Got some hills. So it looks like my entire embark is in a mountain, which could cause us some problems because stuff doesn't grow. For example, this is the only tree in my entire side of things, and you'll note there is some, some surface plants here, but nothing anywhere else. So I'm going to have a challenge feeding dwarves at the start. So this is my starting what was already here, left over from the past. So we've got a trade depot here with some stuff in it, which I might be able to reclaim and pull out. So a finely crafted pigtail left gun. So these are the quality markers that I was talking about before, these kind of dashes next to it. But also, there's got quite a lot of nice stuff on it. And there's some musical instruments and some barrels and similar. Something is happening in there for there to be some water going on. I might, depending on what happens with all of this, I might either drain that into a new. I'm being asked in the chat if I'm going to need to rely more on traders if I can't grow my own food. Partially, yes. So I will be importing more food. The other thing I'll be doing is growing crops underground. Part of the Dwarven civilization, I do have underground plants. So as I'm going further down, some more statues. Yep. So it's going all the way down. There's some more statues. Some kind of weird landings going on. And we can see here, we have broken into some sorts of caverns. And here we have a much larger dwarven township in this underground space, with a bunch of already built workshops, which is quite nice, and appear to be some more bedrooms, some more workshops. That's a lot of metal crafting shops. That should going to be useful. But yeah, so what I might have to do is take advantage of the cavern layers that I've found and grow crops there. The other things I'll probably have to do some importing and then rely more on meat and meat products. Though I do need non-meat products in order to feed to make alcohol, which dwarves need to live. So this is a good point to be starting from, I think. We've got this dirt road that's going off to this side. I've got this trade depot that already exists. I think that I need to start putting some stockpiles together. So this is just to get stuff in off the wagon. These probably aren't going to be our long-term stockpiles, but it is mostly just to make sure things are safe. So this first stockpile is going to be for booze. It's going to be in food, and I'm going to have. Nope, wasn't what I wanted to hit. That was what I wanted to hit. All plant-based drink. So all of those can come in. Minimize DF hacks overlay for that. Ooh, let's come up to the top again. Going to need a not quite as large stockpile for food, which is going to be all except for drink and prepared meals. So all of that kind of stuff gets brought in. And then I'm going to want another stockpile for custom finished goods. Bring stuff in except for stuff that I might need for some other things. So let's go for no splints, no covers, no armor. I just want this for. Do I want to be really this picky at this point? No, let's just take all finished goods, get it in there. Let's set that for furniture. Let's put one here for weapons. And let's put one here for animals. Now, an animal stockpile is not a place where live animals are put. It is a place where cages are put and caged animals are put. So what else am I missing? Cloth, seeds. That's a point. I'm going to need, let's name that as food. And I'm going to alter this as well because I forgot to set this not to contain seeds. Because that could cause, you could get complexity there going on. I will set up a new stockpile for seeds. If I remember to name my stockpiles, then I don't get confused later on. Because that is a thing that I will instantly fail at. Finished goods. Might do one for prepared meals. Food, prepared meals. And then that starts me up. And I can I do wonder what this was. This seems to be water dropping from a great height. But there's also no ceiling, so something must have messed with this thing. Now, are there any... Right, there are some locations that are already marked up. So that's already classed as a bedroom, which is odd because there's no bed in it. What other places do I have? I have... Oh, is that just two of the same bedroom on top of one another? Looks to be. Okay, that's fine. I can just... Oh, that's a tavern. Okay. But I should, yeah. Let's... Yes, because I've got this... This bed... This is already a tavern. But I can... I should really make this the bedroom side of the tavern, and then that a dining hall. But what I will do is set up a meeting area inside so that my dwarves don't just hang out there. For the sake of argument, let's make it a weaponsmith's guild hall that is open to all citizens. So that's a little bit of cheeky work by me there, so that when dwarves are idle, they will hang out in designated social spaces, like this unnamed meeting hall. That's surface Smith Hall. Ooh. Help if I could type. And they will hang out there, and they will spend time socialising with each other and enjoying themselves. If it is a guild hall, guild leaders will also, like members of that guild, will also do demonstrations, and dwarves that are in that area will pay attention, and they will learn those skills. So I've got somebody with weaponsmithing skill in my embark. This is going to spread that skill to other dwarves, and that in turn is going to improve my odds when it comes to making cool things later on. So let's have a look at that. I'm going to want a pen or pasture for my grazing animals. So I'm going to assign... Oh, I got really, really lucky with my draft animals. So I got a male and a female yak. That's going to make it much, much easier to do some of the other things that I want to do there. So that's really cool. I'm going to do that there. I'm going to set up another pasture for the sake of argument here, with which my geese are going to go. And furniture. Is it furniture? No, it's under workshops, farming, nest box. That's in that pasture yet. So that means that the geese will lay eggs there, and I'll be able to gather those eggs for cooking. So just making sure I'm bringing everything in that I need to. What's going to get brought in? Armour's going to get brought in. Booze is going to get brought in. Lighting brought in. Yeah, I think I'm now safe to unpause, and we'll see what I can unforbid and make use of here. So, especially with what happens over here, because stuff is going on. Like whatever this library-looking thing was. So, see here, my dwarves are busily bringing stuff in from outside, and also move those notes. Making sure that my livestock are in their proper places. That's a point. It's pen and pasture. Cats. So, I don't have little vermin getting into my raw food stocks. Um, yeah. And that's my main way in, isn't it? Let's put the dogs there so they don't just run all over the place. I don't have much wood, that is a potential issue, but I might not need much depending on what's in other places. So I might pause again and just see if my dwarves have seen any further. Now that they've been a bit closer to this entrance ramp, they might have a bit more knowledge about what's going on around. No, this is odd to me. This bit of, it almost seems like we've come across a tiny bit of cavern, but there's no. Normally, it's kind of spreads out a bit. But again, here is an interesting underground space. Might be able to break down some of these workshops for the raw materials to make other workshops. That could be useful. And all of this stuff is like this is a fabulous wealth of just resources to work from for equipping things. Right, so something I'm going to need to do fairly soon though is unforbid all that raw food because it's going to rot otherwise. So way down, way down, way down. Making sure they've got a complete route that doesn't go through forbidden doors. That door is no longer forbidden. And all of this is no longer forbidden. Before I forget as well, I must appoint a militia commander. Oh, I've got a notification. We've struck orthoclase, pyrite, microline, galena. Yep, so we've gone. We have seen further down our interesting tunnel, and potentially to another cavern layer. No, not quite. It's just that we've seen this big dugout space, this rock block floor, which might be a road that was mentioned. Nobles and administrators. We have a manager who is, I forget the name. We have a broker, which is a, yeah, and I think our chief medical dwarf. No. Bookkeeper there. Not the same as a broker. Let's make the manager be the expedition leader, militia commander. There we go. Giving people their jobs. Then I can create a new squad. Metal armor. It's a preset uniform. And assign position to there. So there we go. I appreciate you might not have seen all of that because of where my camera is, but I've just put the two dwarves I gave combat skills to into a militia squad, so that if we need to do fighting, and what I will do is equip. I should have. I might be that because it's being moved about, having problems. Speaking of which, I don't think I put down an armor stockpile. Okay, another notification. found a bunch of interesting stones. Native silver, hello. Carnierite, okay. I've got some metal ores here. I haven't come across much that I like in terms of metals yet, though I do have DF hack installed, so one of the things that gives me the opportunity to do is search for bits and pieces that I've found. I can go, I want you to show me all of this thing. Right. And then can unforbid that barrel. Unforbid the barrel. Okay, no, there's bits of plants growing up here now. So that's all resolved, is it? That looks to be clean water as well, which is quite nice. Should be able to make a decent well with all of that. And in so doing, rescue all of the bits that were in there. I don't want to forbid any of these things. Because I don't want all of this delicious food that's clothing that's in this trade depot to rot away. I'm going to be keeping people relatively unburdened with jobs for the moment just because there's so much stuff already here. I don't think I'm going to need to do much working for the first, 6 or 8 months. But I will need to do a lot of other things, kind of get moving on from that. View stockpile. Yep, they're happy to take more barrels. Plenty of bees coming in. There we go. Oh, that's a point. I don't want barrels in my seed stockpile. That causes problems. Right, so let's... What else do I need to do? I need workshops. I haven't got any raw materials yet. Which could be a problem. Shouldn't be a big problem, but could be a small problem. Largely because I don't know if I need to do any big scale. I'd like to start making bins and other like containers to hold all my stuff. There's a lot of iron equipment here, which means I'm never going to be short on good gear, reasonably good gear for my dwarves. But it's the other stuff I'm a bit more concerned about. I'd like to have some raw stone to do some mining with and so forth. But what I could do is unforbid that door and then reclaim all of this kit. So that looks like a generic stockpile to me. Just unforbid all of this as well while I'm at it. Yeah, this looks to be another living and training area. Let's see if what I can grab and find. Some sort of road. There's nothing to catch in the central swamps. Okay, so there's no water source. Hello. An ambush. Drive them out. Pausing. So we have. Let's see. There is a hostile dwarf. Relations groups. He's a full member of the Golden Trades. Okay, I feel like I might need to send to these dwarves to deal with this hostile prophet. If that's the worst of what I've got to deal with, then we're very fortunate. Confirming the kill order. So what's that? The bard is visiting. I should turn off this. Do as well is set up a that's stockpile, isn't it? Corpses. Yep. So. We have a combat log. The holy paint strikes the hammer dwarf, the shot is blocked. Hammer dwarf bashes the holy paint in the right foot with her copper warhammer, bruising the muscle through the alpaca wool shoe. The force twists the right angle. Attacks the hammer dwarf, which jumps away. Hammer dwarf bashes the holy paint in the right foot with her copper warhammer, jamming the bone through the right ankle's muscle and shattering the right ankle's bone. Yeah, blocking with the shield. Yeah, it takes a bit longer than might otherwise. You know, copper equipment, but yeah, this is the hostile dwarf in our in what looks to be the old stockpile is no more. So that's something. Have we found out anything more about what's going on further down? Still milk quart and hematite. Okay. Saplings of trees, yes. I'm feeling a lot less guilty about cutting down that tree now, because I need some spaceable bins. other stones, so they can start making things out of things. What are you doing? Socializing. Socializing. Just having a grand old time. Fondness to talk with a friend, euphoric use inebriation, uneasy after seeing a dead body, annoyed having a drink without using a goblet, cup or mug, content after putting on a well-crafted item, just overall having a good time despite some recent unpleasantness. Let's see if we can't fix some of those problems soon. I was hoping there'd be like a raw stone stockpile or something in here, but I can't seem to find any unused raw materials. It's all kind of already worked, which sure, that's fine, but might be an idea for me to break down some of these metalsmiths forges, because there are an absolute ton of them, in order to have the raw materials to make like a still. Unblock that, and then I can yes, that's freely available, that's freely accessible. Yeah. Still trying to work out what I'm doing, really. What's still in the wagon? That's the important thing here. Bunch of cloth and bags and other bits of tools. So cloth. That'll deal with the cloth side of it. And I can build a carpenter's workshop with some of those orange wood logs I've just chopped down. And make a wood stockpile. Then let's come. Let's have a look at the task list. Store items, stockpile, construct building. It's just so much stuff. But yeah, it's not going to be of any use to anybody for a minute. I'll have a bit of that as well. So that's the full height, isn't it? So I think what I might want to do is build myself a well so I can drain this space. Right, add a new task, make a wooden bin. So I can maybe condense down some of these bits. Oh, right, so build a down ramp there. Then access to that. that space, I'll be channeling the one above it. So dig a hole down there, and then there, down again, and then if I dig out a kind of a biggish space down here, then I can drain all of this water into that kind of deeper space, have a well like properly set up with a deep pool, and then also rescue all this kit if I have a grate or something in that place. This also gives me my first opportunity to have my hands on stone, like raw stone, like that shale. Whoop. So let's dig onwards, because I'm going to need what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. No, that's not exactly right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 by 4 is 22. 22. I'm going to need 22 spaces worth of water. Struck a moonstone somewhere. Okay. Yeah. So let's close down the military menu. Let's have that there, because what I want to do is channel there, and then there, and then have a nice deep kind of section. So one down, down, one down, one down, one, and then if I'm channeling there, and then dig around it, and then dig around it, that should be, that's 9, 18, plus 1 is 20. Do I do another layer? I think I have to. Let's pause that, because then I can put let's workshops stoneworker in jet, workshop mechanic in orange wood, because I'm going to take that off again in a second. Moonstone marcasite, okay. So he is now well and truly trapped himself. That's fine, I think. So I instead do, it digs down, and then I can go across there. And I put a door or something in that to lock that off. Yeah, I think that's the plan. So I want to add a rock grate. And then I also, let's accept custom stone all for the moment. Because yeah, I built this well. I should have been designating this layer by layer. I didn't, and so I now have a hole down the middle that they can't climb back up, which means they could climb back up that one. Which means that won't be able to empty these spaces. What might make sense actually is I do a dig there, and then boom, 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 and a stairwell. That way I can get my hands on all of that material. So constructions, floor grate, a jet grate. So this grate there should catch all of this stuff as the water flows out when I break this hole. All of this stuff should get trapped by that grate. That's the plan. So the idea is we dig, we make this stairwell so that we can finish off all of this and clear out all the rock. Yeah, that should work. We're very close to finishing the stream for today. So, but I have got my hands on some of the other things I want. Let's make some rock mechanisms. Why are there just some leather trousers sat out there? I do not know. Oh, there we go. That was why furniture wasn't being used. And then next week we'll be focusing on getting ourselves into a productive state. Again, we should have some spare doors. Is there no doors in the workshop? In here? No? No, there aren't. Okay. Let's fix that. I need... How many doors? 3? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Rock door. Yeah. So next, yeah. Let's finish up. Save and return to title menu. So yes, thank you very much for watching. Next week we'll be doing a lot more setup. We'll be establishing work orders to make sure that everybody's can stay fed and stay watered. We should be getting our first few migrant waves, and we'll be re-equipping the squad with all our cool iron gear that we found inside, and delving into going deep, exploring the rest of this fortress, and repurposing it to our ends. Moving stuff down as well from our very, very temporary storage situation in the surface blockhouse, and making our place more defensible so that we don't get attacked by goblins or any other things from the surface. Right, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure doing this stream, and I will see you all next week, hopefully. Going to try and make this a weekly thing. Please follow on Twitch and go for the notifications so you can catch my streams when they happen. Follow me on Twitter. I do try to announce my streams a little bit in advance there. I appreciate I didn't do that so much today because I was still trying to get my the stream all set up properly because I'm working on a new computer now, and all of my VODs get uploaded to YouTube, so you can watch them at your leisure. I try and set up playlists there as well, so it can be used there. The intro music, when I got it working, was by Kevin MacLeod. It's a new hero in town. It's a lovely little track. Please go and support his music where you can. It's available through Creative Commons. And yeah, it's been a pleasure streaming. Have a lovely evening.